Hello everyone, and I think it is an important concept, knowing how things work in the Three.js and how camera can be positioned and rotated. So in today's video, we're going to discuss how can we rotate and how can we position the camera. So first thing first, probably I have to delete this for now. But this is going to be for your benefit. So now we have just this scene, and it is a pretty easy scene. If you don't know the structure, you just check this out in my previous tutorials on this course. So I want to add access helper. And in order to add the access helper, we're going to say new 3 access helper. And I'm going to say that the size is going to be 20. Then we have to add it in the scene, and we just add it in the scene as access helper. Now let's check this out. Okay, and here it is. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and the z-axis, we don't see that because it's right in our front, so it basically vanishes. It's kind of the vanishing effect. The next thing, we're going to create the function inside our footer, and this function is going to be called controls. Set controls, probably that makes more sense. Now in set controls, what we're going to do, we're going to make a listener, and I'll say document add event listener that is going to be listened for the key app. And then I'm going to make an arrow function just like this, and I'm going to pass an event here just as e. And then let's check what event gives to us. Although I know what it gives, I just want to show you what I am doing here. So I'm going to add it right after everything is initialized and the objects are set up. So let's go over here. And as you can see, if I will press now G, I got this. And as you can see, the key is G. So because I pressed letter G. Now if I'll press my arrow app, I'm going to get arrow app. Or the last thing, let's say Q, and I get Q. So basically what we did, we just set a listener that is listening for all the keyboard we press, okay? So I'm interested in the parameter that is key, this one, key. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set switch, that is going to track my E key. And then in case if in case if it is equal to, let's say, arrow app, I'm going to say that camera position x plus equal to 1, okay? And then I'm going to break it. That's it. I don't want to have anything else. And then I'm going to do the same thing for down in order to lower our x rotation. And this is how it looks right now. So this is not going to do anything right now. I thought, no, it will. So right now, if I'll press an arrow up, it is going to change our x position, our x position for the camera. So if I'll go here and I'll press upper key, arrow up, as you can see, the x position is changing, and we're changing horizontally because our x coordinate is this red coordinate, that is the horizontal one. Okay, now if we want to change our position vertically, that is the green line here, we would do the same thing probably. So you can set whatever key you want. Here I would probably say right, arrow right and arrow left, let's say so. And we're going to change it for Y right now. Now let's reload this, and here's the X, and here's the Y. And here we can actually see, right? So while we move, we can see our Z coordinate, that is this blue coordinate here. Now, as you can see, it is pretty easy to, lose track of where we are. Okay, so in order to know where we are at, we are going to add some labels. So I'm going to go in the index.html and add block. Inside this block, I'm going to make x div with the ID of x, and then I'm going to make a span inside, and I'm going to say that x axis, or let's say x position is equal to this, okay, whatever is in the span. And I'm going to do this thing for all of them, for y and for z. So the z goes here and the y goes here, and this is what it is, okay. Now I want to style block a little bit. Let's say block, and I'll make it position absolute, and then I'll say left is 0, as well as top is 0. Let's set some margin there as probably 1 rem. And also I want to make color of text is equal to white, so it's basically 6Fs. And that's pretty much it for the block. Now I want to access those values here. So what I would do, I would find block first, and I would go in the documents, and with the query selector, I would find block, not vlog, block, of course. And then using this, and then using block, I would go here and I would find x that is going to be simply equal to block query selector again, find ID, which is x, and I'm interested in span because I don't want to change the whole x. So I would go to span, and I'm going to do the same thing for all of them, for y and for z. And we don't have z though, so let's add z2 here, okay. And probably z would be, let's say, w and s, okay. W for making it bigger, s for making it lesser. So x, y, and z right now are here. And the last thing left is in our listener, we're just going to update them all at once. Now, some of you may say, wait a second, text content is equal to camera position x. Some of you may say it's not really efficient to do all of them at once because you're just trying to update one of them at once, right? Because you don't press all of the keyboard at once. So we're doing useless operations. So for example, if I want to change x, listeners goes, it triggers, and then we change x, but these two are left, and we change them on the same value. So what you would say, right, we would put z here and here. We would change, actually here is y. We would change y here and here, and x here and here, but this is a lot of work. I just want to make a simple setup. Of course, I'm not trying to do the best efficient thing that I can ever do, so I just want to show you how it basically works out. And I also want to say that initially I want to know what are the values here. So as you can see, for x position we have 30, and that is incorrect. Let me check why it's incorrect, of course, because I didn't change them here. So here's y and here's z, so change them all here too. And as you can see, for x we have 0, for y we have 0, and for z we have 30. And the reason for that is that when we come here, as you can see, at the create objects function, I set camera position z on 30, and it's 30 here. So everything is pretty much correctly displayed. Now let's check how actually our camera moves. So if I want to go on the x-axis, I would go something like this. And now you can clearly understand what is going on when you go to those whole things. Now this is y-axis, and as you can see, we go in the top and we go in the bottom. And the last thing, so I lost track of them, so let's go 0, and then y, let's go 0, 2. Okay, and now z is going to be this. So we're going to move. Okay, I messed it up too. So what I didn't change here, because it doesn't. Okay, I didn't change y on z here. Let's change it on z. So let's reload this again, and as you can see now it changes. Okay, so our z becomes near and near, and then if we'll go here, as you can see, we're pretty near to our z, and if we will go further, we can see where our z is. Okay, now this is pretty cool, right? So now I want to also know how do we rotate things. So probably for rotation, I would do this, keyboards. So let's say for X rotation, I'm going to use, let's say, ED. For Y rotation, let's say I'm going to use R and F. And for Z, we're going to use T and G. And I'm not going to, put them on there, but I just want to show you how it actually works, okay? And the only thing here I want to change is to make them smaller, because this will take the huge step, because of the radians and degrees conversions and all this stuff. So let's actually check. So here we go, and now we will do. That's a little bit weird that I see this thing here. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So what I want to do is I want to change it on rotation, of course. So rotation, 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 and so on. Okay. Okay, cool. Here we are. So now let's make it. First I want to rotate X, and you will see what it looks like. So we go up now. Now, when you look at this, you realize that the way our camera moves is from, it moves vertically. Basically, it moves like this, right? So if I would visualize it, I would go in the Blender, and I would go in the normal scene here, and I would go on the camera. Okay, here's the camera, and I would also make this thing working. So now look at this. When we go, let me go a little bit here. When we change our rotation for X, it goes like this. That means that what is happening here is, so now it's not gonna work because there is a difference between order. So I have to make an order to YZX. Now let me show you what it actually is with YZX. Okay, so let's go on YZX. That looks like this. Let me just change everything on 0 so that everything will work fine. This on 0. No, actually, well, that's weird though. Yeah, let's make them all on 0. Anyway, so it's going to be like this, okay? Now look at this. So as you remember, the red one is the x-axis. Remember this, right? So this is the x-axis. Let's move our x-axis and look what it looks like. So here we're just moving our x-axis, right? We're scaling it. But now I want to rotate it. So I would go here and I would go like this. Oh, it doesn't work this way. Anyway, so let's say, okay, instead of doing so, let's say we're going to make it like this. And as you can see, when I rotate my X, it goes exactly, so before, how was before? Before it would look on our scene in 90 degrees like this. Okay, let's imagine that here is our whatever circle, right? Where I can either move this guy over here. Let me move you. Okay, so here it is, right? It's not ideal, but whatever. So here is our circle. Let's imagine it. And we're looking at this thing with this direction. Now, when I rotate my X, what is happening is that we go, and I'm trying to rotate the cube, of course. let me go to the camera. What is happening is, let me actually delete this thing on this so that you can clearly see what is happening. We are going vertically like this. So you understand what is going on right here. So again, I go like this. Although it is hard to probably realize what is going on here, but this is exactly what is going on. We're going like this. Now, when I will move my Y, which is R and F, right? So if we'll go here, R and F for Y, this is what is going to happen. And if you look clearly, you may see that we're moving like this. And you may say, what is the difference between moving by your X as position and your Y as rotation? And I'll show it to you. So when we will go Y now, you see that this is the exact same thing that we just seen here, right? And the difference between rotation and location or position is that if I will change X position, it goes like this, okay? It goes straight to the point, right? We just change our view. But when it is rotation for Y, we are changing our angle, our degree. So this is the difference, okay? And this is the important point to realize when you're working with Three.js scenes or 3D overall. And the last thing we are looking for is Z. What is Z? It is T and G. So T and G, and you may see this weird thing, and G doesn't change anything somehow. I don't know why. So T and G, probably I gotta reload this again. Let's look in T. Okay, G works out. And as you can see, it rotates it like this. And this is probably the hardest one to realize. But this is how it looks like. So when we rotate Z, the camera goes like this. So this is our Z rotation. And I think it is pretty good to understand, and it is a pretty good tutorial to know, right? How actually things work here. And now you understand the difference, right? So the difference between positioning and all this stuff. So you can play around this in Blender, doing some sandbox or something. And probably the last thing that we can actually discuss is zoom, because there is a difference between Z and zoom. So if we will go on our camera and we'll say zoom is equal to, for example, 10, what is it going to result? It's not going to result anything because I think that we can't. So let me go in the documentation and check out for zoom. So zoom is a number and default is 1, and it is for the camera. So let's check zoom, and zoom. Okay. Now I want to know why it didn't work then. Let's say 1. Okay, so zoom is 1 here. Let's say 2. Here is 2. Let's say 10. Okay, let's say 50. So pretty much nothing is changed, I would say. Let's say 0. So now probably we have to have the platform to see how zoom works, I think. I think we can certainly figure this out, how zoom works, but basically what it does is, if we'll go here, zoom basically, it's not that one, it will basically do something like this, okay? And this is going to be the difference between Z and zoom. So zoom would make something that goes along in the horizon, right? And Z would just make it farther with the platform itself too, okay? So now you can clearly see the difference here between them. And if you want to play around with them, because this is actually what we just explained, that this is rotation by Y, and this is the change in position by X, and this is like the difference between them. I think the difference here is seen clearer than in the example I did, but I think it's pretty helpful, all this stuff to know. And this is basically all what this is all about. The last thing, Zoom, I didn't really explain to you, but I think you can certainly find this out. And I hope this was helpful. Thanks.